Hello and welcome to the second lecture in the SageMath lecture series. In the first lecture, I tried to give a brief description of what this SageMath software is, what is the history, how to get it, how to install it, how to run it, etc. But after that, I received a few requests to explain the installation of SageMath software in Windows 10 and Ubuntu in detail. I also received requests for explaining how to use the cloud-based Sage server CoCalc for computing in SageMath. We will be explaining these things in detail in this lecture. These are the steps that we should follow to get SageMath for Windows 10. For Windows 7 also, these steps are equally going to be applicable. We need to download an exe executable installer file from the SageMath server, which can be located at the URL www.sagemath.org, download.html, or from the alternate site github.com. And from that site, we have to locate a file called SageMath 9.0 installer.exe. We have to download this file. This file is going to be a big file, and we are going to do that now. I am opening the Firefox browser and searching for the SageMath website. So the link to SageMath website appears here. I'm clicking on that. Now I am going to the download section on the top and then locating Windows. We can see that there is an instruction appearing on the top saying that for Windows installer binaries, see GitHub releases page. But this does not seem to be that much necessary now, because we can download the Windows installer from any one of these mirror sites. I am just using the MIT mirror from here. So either we can download the Windows installer from this GitHub page, or alternatively we can download from one of the mirrors listed here. I'm clicking on this. And we can see several number of files listed here: SageMath 9.0 version 060 exe, 9.0 version 052, 051, etc. SageMath 8.9, 8.8, etc. These are all older versions of SageMath, and this is the latest version. Whatever is appearing on the top is going to be the latest version most of the times. And just see that this is a 798.85 MB file. So if your internet connection is not fast, you may try to download this from some other system and bring it to your system within using some pen drive or something like that. So I'm clicking on this. Don't click on this torrent, because it will be downloaded using some torrent downloader. But instead of that, you can download directly. Of course, you can use torrent also if you know exactly what a torrent is and how to download using torrent files. So direct downloading can be done by clicking on this link. So a message to opening SageMath 9.0 installer, etc. comes, and it asks for save file cancel. I'm just going to click on save, and now the file is getting downloaded. Now the file downloading is over, and if I go to the folder where the downloaded file is saved, I can see SageMath 9.0 installer version 6.0. I'm simply double clicking on this file to open it. So it may take a while depending upon your processor speed, because this is a huge file and the system needs to read it properly. Now the SageMath setup wizard has opened, and it is asking for clicking on next to continue. I am just clicking on that. So we have to read the agreement given here, since this is an open source free software, and there are some license agreements still applicable. You just go through all these things, and to proceed you need to click on the accept agreement and then click on next, and install just for the current user. And if there are multiple users, this option, the second option, also will be active, and install just for the current user will be sufficient for your own purposes. Click on next. It will ask where to save and accept the default location. I'm just clicking on next After that, again, full installation I'm choosing. There is a custom installation also, but don't try to experiment with that because some components of SageMath may not get installed. So just accept the full installation, and also the SageMath HTML documentation is selected. That also let it be click like that. Click on next. Create start menu icons, create desktop icons, accept all these things. Click on next again. So finally, we are going to start the installation here. Click on install, and it starts. The installation is going on. It will definitely take a while because this is a huge file, and it consists of several files to uncompress, decompress, and install. So wait patiently. You may probably want to take a cup of tea and sit relaxed because it's taking some time for completing the installation. It's not even 1/3 of the complete installation. It took more than 30 minutes for the installation to complete in my system, and it shows some error during the installation, but finally it showed the complete installation button also. Now I am going to look at the desktop. So I can see that 3 icons are newly created here with SageMath 9.0 on one of them written, SageMath 9.0 shell and SageMath 9.0 notebook. So to do our computations, we need to start SageMath 9.0 notebook. I'm starting that, and a message like this appears. Please wait while the Sage Jupyter Notebook server starts. And it asks on which browser you want to open this. You give your preferred browser, and I'm giving Firefox here. It's already selected, and it's opening now. SageMath Jupyter Notebook. So the notebook is now opened. Now if I want to create the SageMath notebooks in documents folder, say I need to go to documents folder here. Otherwise the problem is that it will be creating all the SageMath notebook files in some other folder. So to avoid that, I am clicking on this documents here. So, and after that I am starting a new SageMath 9.0 document from here. This is a worksheet now, it's opening up. And SageMath Jupyter Notebook has come, and we can perform our computations here now. SageMath Jupyter Notebook is ready for its work. So after once you finish your computations, after performing all your computations, you may either log out from this, or you may even leave this page. You may even close this browser completely, and the file will be automatically saved, and you may close even this. But remember not to close this terminal window once the SageMath Jupyter Notebook it's working, because if you are closing this, that SageMath Jupyter also will stop functioning, and you should keep this black color terminal open. So if you go to, now since we have finished it, we can close it, and if I go to the documents folder, I can find that one file called untitled.ipynb, which means untitled IPython notebook has been created here. That is the SageMath notebook we created. Since we didn't give any name to that, it shows untitled. So if you want to again open that file, we need to again go to the SageMath notebook. If you need to open the computations that we performed previously, again go to SageMath notebook. It's opening. Now move to again the same documents folder where it is saved. You can see this untitled.ipynb. Click on that, and our previous computations will be, it was not saved, so probably it was not saved at that time. So 5*2, we are again performing the same computation and clicking on Shift Enter. Now we are logging out. Okay, stay on page, maybe we'll give some time. See the button here, a writing pen like button appears here, which says that SageMath is ready to accept the next command, and this is the edit mode, and the previous command execution is complete. Then only you need to you should log out, otherwise the previous work may not get saved. Now I am giving some name also to this, so introduction. I'm renaming that. Now you can see that edit is not on. That means that the work is going on still. Now the edit is already on. So now we can press on this logout. So I have logged out. I'm closing the browser, close the tabs, closing this window also. Okay. Once again, I am going to the SageMath notebook to see if the previous file is saved or not, previous computations are saved or not. It's opening up slowly. Once again, I'm going to documents folder, introduction file is here, clicking on that. Good, the previous computation is saved here. So this is how we should install SageMath in Windows 10, open the SageMath Jupyter Notebook server, perform the computations, and log out from the systems, so that the system, the whatever computation we have performed, we can make sure that that's saved. So clicking on this logout. Now clicking on this logout, closing this window, and closing this terminal also, and SageMath session is complete. So the installation of SageMath in Windows 10 is now complete. After installing SageMath in Windows 10, now we are going to see how to install SageMath in Ubuntu. So the steps are the following. We are going to describe actually three methods. The method one, which is the easiest one. And if you have an Ubuntu system which has a very good internet connectivity, you can go to the applications menu, then go to the software updates for updating the list of software available. Then after that, go to the applications menu once again and go to Ubuntu Software Manager, search for SageMath, click on the install button and install it, and that's quite easy. But all these things will happen only if you have a very good internet connectivity. So we are going to see how to do this in the Ubuntu system. I'm going to search for software update. It's here. I clicked on that. Once again, I'm showing that. Go to the applications menu, search for software updates. So software updates is here. I'm clicking on this. So it now checks for updates. It may take a while depending upon your internet speed. Remember that this process is not updating all the software available in your system, but the software updater just updates initially the list of software available for downloading. So it now says that around 580.7 MB software is available since my last update. So if you are interested in updating your entire system, you may proceed clicking on install now, otherwise you may simply close this. And now after the software list is updated, we may go to the Ubuntu Software Manager, which is even listed here, or you can find it even from here. Software Manager, that's here, or Ubuntu Software. So I am clicking on this Ubuntu Software to locate SageMath. So again, taking a while for downloading a few list of software, etc., and application ratings. So it shows a list of software available for installation. But instead of looking at any of these things, I'm just going to search for SageMath from here. So here I can see a button using which I can search for SageMath. And on searching, the SageMath software appears here. See, you can see the SageMath Computer Algebra System Jupyter Notebook. If I click on this, see, I'm once again doing this. I can see the option here, SageMath. I'm clicking on this. So now comes the option to install. SageMath is a free open source software, etc. The version number is coming here, 9.01. Not that in Windows we had 9.0, not now 9.01 but 9.0. This is slightly a newer version of the Windows version. If you click on install, the installation procedure will start. So since I do not want to install it right now, since I want to just show you that some other methods also exist for installing SageMath in Ubuntu, I'm just ignoring this. If you want to install using this method, you can simply click on this install button. I'm just closing this now to show a second method for the installation. This is the first method and this is the easiest method. Now the second method, this is not the easiest, but this is equally easy. So still you need an internet connected system with fast internet connectivity, and then we need to run a few commands in the terminal. These are the commands: sudo apt-get update -y. This is the equivalent of running the software updater. You may have to wait for a while, and then you have to issue the command sudo apt-get install -y SageMath, and then you need to again wait for a while, and these two steps will completely install SageMath. We are going to see that. So I'm going to the terminal. So terminal is here. I click on that once again. I'm going to terminal, and terminal is appearing here. I'm clicking on this terminal. Now a window like this appears. Here I'm going to type the first command, sudo, which stands for super user, sudo apt-get update -y, so that I can update the software list. So I have to feed my password, but remember that even if you type the password, it will not be visible. You should not expect any star etc. appearing here. Only blank will be there, so don't expect anything to be reflecting on the screen. Just keep on typing the password, and once you completely type the password, you just press the enter key. So it says that it is downloading the software list, and since just now I have updated all the software lists, there is nothing to download as of the time being. But if you have not updated it for a while, it will show that it's downloading a number of software packages, list of software packages, etc. Now the second command is sudo apt-get install SageMath. If you give -y, it will not ask any question, do you want to install, etc. If you don't give -y, it will ask if you want to proceed or not. So I'm not including that -y so that we can see what are the questions that we are going to see now. I'm just pressing the enter key. So it says that a huge list of software is going to be downloaded. So many packages are going to be downloaded, but not that all these packages together, you need to get 768 MB of archives. That means that only 768 MB will be in total downloaded, but 4326 MB disk space will be used. That means more than 4 GB disk space is required for the installation of SageMath. If I press Y and then the enter key, then the installation will start. This is the second method for installing SageMath, and this is also going to be very easy, but provided that you have a very fast internet connection. I'm not proceeding further because I want to show you the third method also for installing SageMath. I'm just cancelling that, closing this window, and I'm moving to the third method. The third method for installing SageMath in Ubuntu is not as easy as the first and second method, but still this is useful because if you have one system with very good internet connectivity, or maybe your school or college system where very fast internet connection is available. But suppose that you want to install SageMath in another system where there is no or very slow internet connectivity available. So you can download one single file using a fast internet connection, take that downloaded file and install it in a system with somewhat less internet connectivity, slower internet connectivity. So the steps are the following. Visit again the SageMath downloads page, and we need to choose one of the servers listed in that page. After that, you need to select which binaries we need to download for 32-bit or 64-bit. So for finding 32-bit or 64-bit you need to download, you need to know what exactly the number of bits system you are using. For that, you may use the ls-cpu command in the terminal, and after that command download the 32-bit SageMath file if your system is in 32-bit, or 64-bit if your system is in 64-bit. That's a large file, around 2 GB in size, and after that you may have to run a few commands. And these are the commands that you have to run. We are going to demonstrate all these commands one by one. But this is also going to take some time. Of course, for downloading it, it will take some time, and after that for installation also it will take some time. But the advantage is that once you download the file, you can install that file in any system even without having internet connectivity. So once downloaded, you may use it anywhere. That's the advantage of this method. So especially if you have to install this in all the systems in your lab, instead of wasting your bandwidth, you may download the file which is around 2 GB in size. Then you take that file to all the systems where you want to install that, and follow the methods that I am going to describe now. So we are going to see how to download the SageMath file and how to use that for installing SageMath in several systems using the single file. For installing SageMath using the third method in Ubuntu, we need to go to the SageMath download server. I am opening my browser. Now once again I am searching for SageMath. Now I'm going to downloads, then I'm choosing Linux. I can see that download binaries for Linux, and I can see, as in the Windows case, several mirrors here. Once again I'm choosing the MIT USA mirror. Now the question is, there are several options to choose from: 32-bit, 64-bit, etc. So we have to download 32-bit or 64-bit, but it actually depends on what type of operating system you have. So Ubuntu 20.04, if you are choosing, it has only 64-bit available. But if you are using something prior to Ubuntu 20.04, it may be even 32-bit. So it needs to identify, you need to identify what exactly is the number of bits your operating system has. For that, go to the terminal. I'm searching for terminal. So terminal is here, clicking on that. Now I am issuing the command lscpu and press enter key. Now on the top I can see that the architecture is given to be x86-64. This 64 means that I am using a 64-bit operating system. So I need to download. So I am showing that once again, terminal, and from that terminal again lscpu. On the top of that we can see that architecture of the system is shown to be x86-64, and that 64 corresponds to 64-bit operating system. I'm now closing this terminal, and since I understood that my system is a 64-bit system, I am clicking on this 64-bit. A number of files are appearing here, and we can see that x86-64 Ubuntu 18.04 stage 9.1 is available here. Even if your system is Ubuntu 20.04, this 18.04 version would be sufficient. So I'm just clicking on this, but not that this is a large file. This is more than 2 GB in size, or around 2 GB. If you translate this to GB, this is around 2 GB in size. I'm clicking on this file to download it. And I have to now save this. This is a huge file. It will take a while. So I'm waiting for the download to complete. Once the download is completed, we can close the browser window, and the download is saved most of the times in the downloads folder. We are going to downloads folder, locating the downloads folder, and the file is here. Now I am going to extract this. We may of course use the commands that we have shown previously, or we can even right click on this and click on extract here. So right click on this Sage 9.1 tar.bz2 file and click on extract here. So extraction will take some time because this is a huge file, and the archive, the compressed file, has to be decompressed. Now it shows that it is just preparing to extract. It may take some time. You may just wait for some time for the extraction to complete. You should not interrupt the extraction. The extraction seems to be now complete. So we can see a Sage 9.1 folder here. Now I am checking the contents inside the folder, opening it. A SageMath folder is appearing inside this Sage 9.1 Ubuntu 18.04 x86-64. So I am moving this folder by cutting it and pasting it inside the home folder. Pasted. Now the SageMath folder is appearing here. Now if I go inside the folder, I can see one Sage file here. This is actually the main file that is responsible for running the Sage software. Now instead of going inside the SageMath folder every time and running it, we can create a shortcut to this Sage file, so that from the terminal we can directly access it without even entering this SageMath folder, and we are going to run that command now. So I'm right clicking. So I'm right clicking here, open this folder in terminal. I'm going to create a shortcut to this Sage application, so that could be accessed from anywhere using the terminal. I'm going to use the following command and pasting it. I have already copied that command. So I have pasted this command. I'm just maximizing this window. So the command is the following: sudo ln, that is ln stands for linking, -s, that's symbolic link, to this tilde and backslash corresponds to the home folder, and SageMath folder is inside the home folder, then the Sage file, and linking that to user local bin Sage. Pressing the enter key. It is asking for the password. I'm typing it. There is no echo. Press the enter key. So I created a shortcut to this Sage application, and from anywhere I can use this Sage command in the following way: Sage -n. See this /, there is a /Sage -n Jupyter. This is the command that we have to use for opening the Jupyter notebook interface of Sage. Pressing the enter key. Now what happens is that before the 9th version of Sage, Python 2 was used for Sage, and once the Sage shifted to Python 3, there are certain incompatibilities, and because of which some error like this may pop up, like user bin ny python no such file directory. If such an error is happening, then we have to run the script relocate once by using the following command. If such an error happens, then run this following command: python 3 relocate once.py. I'm running that python 3 relocate once.py, that Python script. This is only a one-time process, clicking on, pressing the enter key. A number of lines scrolling upward. Now once again trying with the previous command, /sage -n Jupyter, pressing enter key once again. Now the Sage Jupyter Notebook server starts. We may have to wait for a while. Yes, the Sage Notebook now started. Now we need to Okay, Sage Notebook server started. Now, the problem is that we started the Sage Notebook server staying inside the SageMath folder, and therefore all the files will be saved inside the SageMath folder. To avoid that difficulty, log out now. I'm closing this window. I'm closing this window as well. Close the terminal. Closing everything. Going to the Start menu. Opening the terminal. The terminal it's opened. /sage -n Jupyter once again. Sorry, that is not necessary because we have already linked to that Sage. So Sage -n Jupyter, that's more than enough. Now starting it. So // is not necessary now because we have already linked to that Sage file. Now see that we can see the directories appearing here, and most of the times we will be saving our Sage files to documents. So click on this documents. Now open a new SageMath 9.1. Remember that in the case of Windows we saw Sage 9.0. Here it is 9.1. So creating a new Jupyter notebook. It's opening. Let us see if it's working. File #5 shift enter, and the result, we're waiting for that. Result is 125. Okay, this untitled is appearing here. Maybe we can save it using the same name we used previously. Introduction. So renamed. After renaming, it's a good idea. Of course, we can close this browser window to exit from Sage Jupyter Notebook, but instead of that, it's better to click on this notebook. Stay on page, something is happening, so just wait. Notebook saved. So if you have observed here, a notebook saved option had come, and of course we can save and checkpoint option is also here. Now I'm saving that once again. One save button is already here, that also we can use. After that, clicking on logout. Close this, and close this window also. And now we have completed the installation and tried the Sage Jupyter Notebook. So the command we have to execute in this case is the procedure is open the terminal. After that, run the command Sage -n Jupyter and press enter. The Sage notebook will come. So the installation of Sage in Ubuntu using 3 methods we have explained, and this is the last method, and this is actually one of the most complicated methods, of course. But the thing is that if you have to install SageMath in many systems, and if you do not want to waste the bandwidth by downloading SageMath every time by directly using the software manager, then this is the best way to perform the installation. Not only that, once you have downloaded, it should not take that much time. In my system, it took a while for extracting the files because I am using a system with low resources. So we have completed the installation in Windows, and we have completed the installation in Ubuntu. So getting SageMath for Ubuntu, that part we completely explained, and we created a shortcut like this. And after that, we have also seen that in Windows 10 how to start SageMath. We need to just go to Applications menu, Start menu, and of course, if we have used the first or second method in Ubuntu, we can follow exactly the same procedure for opening, starting SageMath, we can go to applications menu and we will find an icon called SageMath, but only if you have used method 1 or method 2. But if you have used method 3, then we have to use the terminal command sage minus and Jupyter. So otherwise we can straight away go to applications menu and click on the SageMath icon, and SageMath Jupyter Notebook will open in Firefox or Google Chrome depending upon your browser. Now this is the command that we have to type. Now we have seen that we can use Sage Cell Server or CoCalc, which is a web-based cloud computing platform for running SageMath and of course for many other software packages. Now we will go to CoCalc and see how to create an account and how to start using SageMath in CoCalc. Now we are going to see how to use SageMath online using the CoCalc website. I am now searching for the CoCalc website. It's here, CoCalc Collaborative Calculation and Data Science. We can run CoCalc without creating an account, but the problem with that is that the Jupyter Notebook that we create may not get saved and we will lose the work that we have already completed. So it is better to create an account, and for creating an account I am using the option sign in from here. So now a window appears. For creating the account, I have to agree to the terms and conditions of CoCalc, then give the first name, last name, etc., all the details. I need to give my email address. Don't give just some random email address, but here for training purposes I am just giving some email address that does not actually belong to me. You please should not do that. So somebody at, so I'm giving an email address here and I'm giving a password that I can easily remember. So I have given one email address here. Now I'm going to click on sign up. And it shows that I am now inside. I can see, if I check this account, I can see that the logged in details and all these things. But before that, we will just see how to run SageMath. And we are going to create a project here. Maybe we will say SageMath training. I'm creating a project titled SageMath Training. Create project. It's loading. Now it says create or upload files. I'm clicking on create. So it is now asking for name of the file, folder, etc. Maybe we can just give introduction here. Of course, choose a different name when you are going to create another file, another Jupyter Notebook. And here I can see Sage Worksheet and Jupyter Notebook. Since Sage Worksheet seems to be somewhat an old way of using SageMath, we will just go to the newer way of doing using SageMath, which is Jupyter Notebook. So we are clicking on Jupyter Notebook here. After giving the title, the file name here, clicking on this Jupyter Notebook. It is now asking for selecting a kernel. Kernel is a technical term that is used in this computer science language. You don't have to worry too much about that. And here we have to select from Julia 1.4, Python 3, R, SageMath 9.1, etc. Naturally, we have to select SageMath 9.1, but instead of being faced with this question again and again, I'm just clicking this do not ask every time what kernel you want to choose, but choose the last selection, which is SageMath 9.1. I'm clicking on this and I'm waiting. So the Jupyter notebook interface of SageMath has now come, and here I can try whatever command I want, 5 or otherwise 4, hat 3, and clicking on pressing the shift enter key, and the result comes now, and numerical 4 by 5. If I click on this, then 0.80, etc., and all these results are appearing here. And you may be thinking that if this is quite easy, then what is the need of installing a SageMath system, SageMath software in your own local system? But just see that the memory given here is just 235 MB. So if you are installing in your local PC, most of the times the memory will be around 2 GB to 4 GB, and around 1 GB will be most of the times will be available for your SageMath system. Therefore, the computing power available to you in the CoCalc server will be much less compared to what we can actually have in your local system. Of course, in the smaller computation situations, this is not going to matter much. But suppose that you are plotting a graph, a 3D graph with a lot of parameters, then this is going to definitely affect. So this is not actually the best option, but if nothing else is available, can simply try this CoCalc web server. After doing all these things, I need to probably, of course, when I am pressing on this shift enter and evaluating, it gets saved. But to make sure that we are not losing our work, we can just click on the save, but it seems that it's already saved. So there is no need to further save, and if you want to download, you may download it this file from here, and maybe you can send it to somebody. So compress, delete, rename, duplicate, move, copy, all these options are here. If you click on download, the file will be downloaded as introduction.ipython notebook. So we can click on this download and it will be downloaded. Now I am just going back and checking the worksheet once again, Sage worksheet once again. It comes up. Now I can log out, and we'll just see if this file is indeed saved. The logout option is probably here. Okay, a sign out option is already here. So I'm signing out. See that I have given some email address that is not actually mine. Some for training purpose, I gave some email address. You have to actually give your own email address. Otherwise, the problem is that in case you forget your password, you may not be able to recover it. So I'm clicking on this. No need to even click on this account. I can just place the mouse here, and the sign out option will come up. I'm signing out. Sign out. And again, I will be coming back to the CoCalc website front page. Let me just sign in once again and see if my previous file is saved or not. I need to sign in, so I'm giving somebody at somewhere.com and the password I gave. So I'm signing in. So I can see that there is a project now called SageMath Training. I'm clicking on that. Now, if I click on that, I am seeing this introduction IPython notebook, which is the Jupyter notebook created for the training in SageMath. Clicking on that. So whatever I have done previously, I can see it here. So this is how we use the CoCalc web server, cloud-based SageMath web server for performing computations in SageMath online. Signing out finally. Yes. And that's it. This is how we use CoCalc web server for SageMath computations. The next option that we are going to describe for using SageMath online is the SageCell server, and we are going to visit the SageCell website now. Searching for the SageCell server. can find it from here, and the server appears here, and we can type any SageMath command in the input box provided there, just like we did in the case of local installation or the installation in CoCalc. So 10 by 2 Sage Cell server says, either you can click on evaluate or shift enter. I press shift enter and it says the result to be equal to 5. Now I can try sine 5, and once again pressing the shift enter gives the answer as 0. So a SageMath cell is the simplest option probably to try online, but the disadvantage is that there is only one cell available in this SageMath cell server, and therefore if you want to perform additional computations, there is no input cell below this. You can see this here. So for that you may have to go to CoCalc and either create an account or try it without creating account, and you can save also in CoCalc, but here there is no save option available. Whatever you are typing, that will be lost once you close this window. So this should be tried only if you don't have any other option. And the computational power also, that of course depends upon the number of people that the SageMath cell server is currently being used by how many number of people. So SageMath cell is the simplest and not of course the most feature rich option for trying SageMath computations online. So these are the options that we have. Either we install the SageMath software in Windows system or Ubuntu system or any Linux based system or Apple based system, or try SageMath online using the CoCalc web server or the SageMath cell server. If you want to try SageMath in your Android mobile, as of now it seems that there is no option to try SageMath in Android, except that you can use the browser and visit the SageMath cell server or CoCalc server for performing computations. We have explained several ways of computing using SageMath, and we feel that this has been actually an exhaustive demonstration on how to use SageMath in different ways. And with this, we are stopping this lecture, and thank you for your patient listening.